right, welcome everybody to our governing board meeting. We're glad you could all be here. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order and start with the roll call. Here.
Here.
All right, and if you could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will follow by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, and we'll move on to approval of the agenda. So, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we need a motion for approval of minutes.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, and then we will turn the time over to Dr. Sprout for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Clerk Abeg and governing board members. Congratulations to Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy for earning their second A+ School of Excellence designation. The Arizona Educational Foundation's A+ designation is the highest state-level recognition given to a public school in Arizona. By the way, you may notice there's a plus here because, again, this is their second time. This incredible achievement is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and passion of the entire staff, their students, and the Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy community as a whole. Here's to celebrating this amazing milestone and the bright future ahead. And would Principal Jessica Epax please come forward? We have a packed house tonight to recognize some amazing individuals and employees in our school district. And tonight is the night of our Exceptional Service Awards. I am pleased to announce the recipients of the 24-25 Exceptional Service Awards, the Levine Elementary School District's highest recognition for classified staff. These employees were nominated and selected for bringing their best to work every single day. All of the recipients display the following attributes: strong attendance and dependability, high quality and quantity of work. They excel at working harmoniously with others. They are experts in their job responsibilities. They regularly show initiative and creatively solve problems, and they provide excellent customer service. Their commitment to our students, staff, and community is greatly appreciated. Please join me in recognizing this year's Exceptional Service Award recipients. So when I call your name, if you would please come forward, and we will recognize you and get a picture with the entire group. So stay up here in the front. And so our first recipient, Marcela Cazares, Cafeteria Manager at NC Cash. Next, our plant manager at the Levine Education Center, Shayla Altamirano. Yeah, stand up. Let's give it up for these guys. From our Student Services Department, Juliana Garibay. Plant Manager at Levine Elementary School, Brian Olheiser. Our Student Success Associate at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Anna Victoria. School Registrar at Rogers Ranch STEM Academy, Veronica Montoya. School Secretary at Paseo Point Dual Language Academy, Vanessa Loza. Behavior Monitor at Estrella Foothills Global Academy, Olivia Lopez.
Hype man. Yeah.
Student Success Associate at Cheatham Elementary School, Christina Cardoso. School Secretary at Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy, Dominique Peavy. Bus driver in our Transportation Department, Martha Madrid. School Secretary at Desert Meadows School, Jennifer Urbach. Special Education Instructional Associate at MC Cash School, Claudia Mares. And I hired this next person, a very special person. We work together in Human Resources. Our Benefits Technician from Human Resources Department, Bianca Altamirano. Again, a congratulations to these amazing employees, family members, and friends that are here. Know of the impact that your family member and friend has in our district. It's incredible. You should be very proud of them. Take them to dinner tonight, later, and celebrate with them, but they've done incredible work for the children and staff and community here in Levine. Family members, by the way, if you would like to come up and be right where right where Jessica is here, we will stand here and let you take all the pictures you want. All right, look at Jessica, please. Look at Jessica in the middle.
I can take 3 photos. I'll let you know what I'm doing, okay?
And don't move.
And I'm on 3, 2, 1. I'm going in 3, 2, 1. And 1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there. Hey there.
one, yeah. Grounds, I think, was grounds, yeah.
It is. I wanted to, like when you're trying to get someone's attention.
Our schools have received the Level 4 award for their implementation with fidelity of positive behavior interventions and supports for Tier 1, 2, and 3 students. This is the highest award a school can earn and makes them each eligible to be a model PBIS school. Congratulations to MC Cash, Estrella Foothills Global Academy, and Cheatham Elementary for earning this prestigious recognition for the 23-24 school year. Now would Cheatham Principal and Assistant Principal Christy Pashley and Ashley Grant please come forward. MC Cash Principal Nikki Goodwin and Assistant Principal Rayanne Morgan. And Estrella Foothills Global Academy Principal Aaron Liebisch and Assistant Principal Asia Glover. Seven talented Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy students, orchestra students, participated in the honor orchestra performance at Maryvale High School. And they did this with incredible pride and excellence. 2 students earned spots in the advanced honor orchestra where they were the only middle schoolers among high school musicians, tackling complex pieces well beyond their years. The other 5 students performed beautifully in the intermediate honor orchestra, showcasing their strong musicianship and leadership skills. We are incredibly proud of their hard work and dedication. On February 19th, the Native American Parent Advisory Committee hosted a cultural night dedicated to Native American families. One of the parent members led the event, guiding attendees through cultural craft while sharing its historical and symbolic significance. Over 25 people participated, and Levine students who attended received a book featuring stories from indigenous tribes of North America. 23 students from Estrella Foothills Global Academy had the opportunity to participate in the Arizona School Connect Summit that took place at the PHX Arena, the former Footprint Center. Students ranged from 2nd to 8th graders who were in the top percentage of minutes read through the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury Valley Readers Program. And they had the opportunity to go down to the court and be recognized for their accomplishments. They received basketballs and they got to shoot hoops on the court where the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury play. On March 6th, we celebrated a day of innovation and excitement at the first annual Levine School District Robotics Hackathon. 8 teams from across the district showcased their STEM, coding, and robotics skills, demonstrating remarkable creativity and problem-solving abilities. The event was held here at the Levine Education Center, and the atmosphere was filled with energy and enthusiasm. Teams worked together to build and program their robots through a series of 4 challenges: the maze, checkpoints, capture and carry, and the solo cup grab. We are all incredibly proud of the students who participated. Their dedication and innovative solutions were truly inspiring. This event highlights the importance of STEM and computer science education and the incredible potential of our students. The competition was very close, but our top teams were, in 3rd place, Levine Elementary School. Round of applause for Levine Elementary. Tied for 2nd place, we have Rogers Ranch STEM Academy and MC Cash Elementary. And 1st place went to Paseo Point Dual Language Academy. And I believe we have some students from our 1st place team, so if you would please come forward. Ekin Finestine, are you here tonight? Ekin? Okay. Francisco Villa, here she comes, okay. Francisco Villa. Christian Cruz. Azil Valle. Analia Caldara. And Alessandra Guerrero Amaya. You know, it's amazing to think that they're 10, 15 years away from being in the workforce, and they demonstrated we've got a very bright future. All of our students have participated in the hackathon, and so congratulations to our 1st place team.
All right, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. I'm zooming in 3, 2, 1. Out in 3, 2. Thank you, guys.
Just a second. All right, zooming in, 3, 2, 1. All right, perfect.
I also, before he goes and sits down, this is Mr. Ortega, our technology teacher who led the Paseo Point Dual Language Academy. So thank you, Mr. Ortega. Before we leave this topic, we have, if we could back it up one more, Butch, thank you. I also want to say a special thank you to Mr. Richard Pino and Mr. J.D. Williams for conceptualizing and planning this event, all the team coaches, the staff judges who made it a success. This again is a testament to us preparing our students for the brightest future possible. On February 6th and 7th, Desert Meadows hosted an engaging series of events for 7th and 8th grade students. On the 6th, students were visited by various colleges, including ASU and local community colleges, to learn about entrance requirements, programs, and scholarships. The next day, Desert Meadows held a career day with over 40 professionals from careers like firefighting, aviation, culinary arts, banking, construction, and more. Organized by the Student Culture Committee, students rotated through stations, had opportunities to ask questions, participate in hands-on activities, and then reflect on their experience. Nice job, Desert Meadows. On March 4th, the Federal Programs Department hosted a Loteria and Literacy Night for EL families, with 20 families attending. The event began with helpful literacy strategies for supporting their EL students at home, as well as preparing them for the upcoming Azella test. Afterwards, the families enjoyed a fun-filled game of Loteria, and the night concluded with each student receiving a bilingual Read With Me companion book written in both English and Spanish so families can read together. Nice job, Federal Programs. On Monday, February 10th, Elizabeth Duncan, president of the Levine Kiwanis Club, spoke to 7th grade students at Levine Elementary School about community service. Students assembled food bags for families in need. This was a significant project for Levine students seeking a way to deepen their empathy and citizenship skills by giving back to their community. Nice job. In an exciting milestone for MC Cash's Career and Pathways Signature Program, the school hosted its first annual 8th grade high school registration night aimed at helping students transition to high school with confidence. Representatives from Cesar Chavez High School were on hand to guide students through the registration process and share information about programs. Over 80 students and their families attended. Way to go. Going back to our musical programs, band programs, on February 9th, 6 Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy students and 6 Paseo Point Dual Language Academy students had the opportunity to participate in the Southern Arizona Honor Band at Flowing Wells High School in Tucson. They represented their schools with pride and excellence, impressing everyone with their talent, professionalism, and teamwork. Nice job.
Including the Palisade.
I'm getting a message from one of our governing board members that Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy was there.
Yeah,
so
she
your son was
recognizes
there.
someone,
Okay,
yeah.
so thank you. On February 22nd, MC Cash, Cheatham Elementary, and Estrella Foothills Global Academy, Desert Meadows, and Paseo Point Dual Language Academy came together for the first ever annual cheer showcase, sponsored by Cesar Chavez High School. Each team performed routines and took part in a jumping competition, showing off their hard work. Nice job. Cheatham Elementary students who showed the impressive growth on their NWEA assessments earned an exciting reward, an unforgettable experience at a Suns game. They had the opportunity to attend the game with a parent and join the players on the court for the national anthem. Nice job, guys. And now we are going to recognize 2 employees of the month. It is our tradition when we call these people for everyone to stand and to honor our employees of the month. So we're going to start with Stacy Hedrick, art teacher at Desert Meadows School. In her 9 remarkable years of teaching art at Desert Meadows, Ms. Hedrick has truly become an invaluable part of the Meadows family. She brings a wealth of talent, passion, and creativity to everything she does. A shining example of innovation, Ms. Hedrick is always ready to take on new challenges. This past summer, she stepped up in a big way by teaching a brand new graphic design class for the summer school program, one that was not only a fresh experience for our students, but for her as well. She embraced the opportunity with enthusiasm, delivering a class that was both exciting and engaging for all involved. Whether it's kindergarten all the way to 8th grade, every student loves their time in Miss Hedrick's art class. And we are so grateful, Stacy, for your dedication and the positive impact you have on students, staff, and community. Thank you for everything you do. Principal J.P. Ketchum.
Well, congratulations, Stacy. Like Dr. Sprout mentioned, Stacy is an innovator. Every year she shows up, and even after 26 years in business, she always has something new. She encourages her students to take risks academically and creatively, and she models what it means to be an innovator. So thank you for all that you do on our campus. We appreciate you so much. Congratulations.
Our classified employee of the month is Sierra Deer Rojas, our EL instructional associate at Cheatham Elementary School. Sierra continuously goes above and beyond to enhance her teaching, always striving for excellence. She actively engages in coaching sessions and thoughtfully applies evidence-based instructional strategies in every class she teaches. By meticulously tracking and sharing student data, she ensures that her students are on the path to success. Her commitment to fostering a challenging and motivating learning environment shines through as she maintains high expectations and holds all students accountable. Sierra's unwavering positive attitude and dedication make her more than deserving of this recognition. Thank you, Sierra, for all the incredible work you do. Principal Ashley.
I don't have as loud of a voice as Mr. Ketchum, so I just want to highlight that nomination is so perfect for Sierra, but I'm excited because I get to add to that. So in addition to her work as an EL instructional associate at on our campus, let's see, the book fair wouldn't happen without Sierra. Our turkey trot wouldn't have as many turkeys available for our families to drive through. Our staff wouldn't have such awesome meals from her extensive list of community partners that she reaches out to on an ongoing basis. And not to mention, she's the first one to let us know if her schedule is impacted by something and she has any gaps in her day, and where can I go, where can I help, or this is where I'm gonna be today, if you need me, I grabbed a radio. So we just appreciate you a ton. Thank you for all you do.
And now we have our classroom spotlight. And for that, we from Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy. And for that, we will turn it over to Principal Francine Tate.
Thank you.
I'm already getting nervous about this. We're going to be doing some math tonight, right?
That's right.
Okay, here we go.
Good evening, Clerk Abeg, governing board members, and Dr. Sprout. As you know, I am the proud principal of Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy. At Trailside, we believe that all students can learn at high levels. With the new adoption of EM2, we have high levels of teaching and learning taking place within our classrooms every day. Each Wednesday, we focus our PLC time on instructional practices to improve learning outcomes. One strategy that you will see this evening is the use of sprints, which can be found within the EM2 curriculum. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Lotz, our third grade teacher, and our third grade students to show you more about sprints.
Good evening, Clerk Abeg, Governing Board, and Dr. Sprout. I am excited to share one of Eureka's fluency practices, the sprint. The sprint is a two-part quick recall of math facts. This activity gets students engaged by encouraging them to challenge and compete with themselves. The sprint can help bridge small learning gaps as well as activate prior knowledge before learning. Here you will see a sprint in action. Oops, wrong way. Wrong. So let's look at the first two problems on our sprint. What do we notice? What are they doing? Joaquin?
Multiplying and dividing by 9.
Multiplying and dividing by 9. So if I do 2 times 9, what do I get?
18.
18. And if I do 18 divided by 9, what do I get? Alibi?
2.
2. So turn to your sprint to sprint A, please. You are ready. Pencils in the air. Nice and high. When I say go, you will have 1 minute to complete as many as you can. Go. And stop. Okay, underline the last problem you did. All right, I'm going to read the answers. If you got it correct, say yes. If you didn't, circle it. Here we go. 9. Yes. 18. Yes. 27. Yes. All right, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to continue working and practice some more. 2 minutes to continue working and practice some more. Go ahead. And stop. Underline the last one you did. All right, I'm going to start back at the beginning. I'm going to give you the answers. Again, if you got it correct, say yes. Now I want you to go back to the top of your sheet. Look at that number at the top. That is the number correct you got that first time when we did it in 1 minute. That is your goal. That is what you are trying to beat. So look at your number. Go to sprint B, put your pencil high in the air, show me you're ready. At this time, I would like to welcome our third graders to join our governing board members to complete a sprint.
Parents, you can come up and get pictures too if you'd like.
Okay. All right, so we are going to look first at our sprint warm-up. Students, we are looking at our sprint warm-up. The directions say write the fraction that is 1 fractional unit more. Write your answer as a whole number when possible. So look at sprint question 1. When you think you know what the answer is, put your fist to your chest so I know that you're ready. And Solomon, what would be the answer for 1? 2/4. 2/4, very good. Look at question number 2. Again, once you think you know what the answer is, put your fist to your chest. Araya, what is it? 1 whole. Because if we get 1 fractional unit more, we get 4/4, which is 1 whole. Awesome. Please turn to sprint A.
You guys want to use the desk here?
Easy to write. Get sprint A ready to go. Pencil high in the air when you are ready.
What's your name? Aaliyah, what's your name? I'm sorry?
Okay, remember, when I say go, you're going to get started and you're going to work as quickly as you can. You are not expected to complete all of them. Just do as many as you can. Ready, set, go. the last one you did. All right, I'm going to read through the answers. If you got them correct, say yes. If you did not, simply circle them. 2/3.
Yes.
2/3.
Yes.
2/4.
Yes.
2/4.
Yes.
2/6.
Yes.
2/6.
Yes.
3/8.
Yes.
3/8.
Yes.
4/8.
Yes.
4/8.
Yes.
1/3.
Yes.
1/2.
Yes.
1/4.
Yes.
3/4. 1/2. 1/6.
Yes.
4/6. 1/2. Awesome. Write that number at the top of your paper, please. Students, questions 1 through 10, what do you notice?
Yep. Just kidding.
David, what do you notice about questions 1 through 10?
They all have a pattern in 1/3. They all have a pattern in 1/3 and then the fractions and then the word.
So we go word form, fraction form, word form, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you notice about questions 14 and 19? Charlie? They both equal 1/2. Awesome job. Okay, so at this point, we would normally give them 2 more minutes to continue to practice, to continue to work through that sheet. And then we have them look back at how many correct they got. So go ahead and look at how many correct you got. And then we go to sprint B. And now, governing board members, we are challenging you. So students, please hand your board member in sprint B.
Okay.
1 fractional unit more. And if it can be a whole number, it needs to be a whole number. Wait until we're ready. Pencils high in the air to show me you're ready. Pencils high in the air, show me you're ready. You only have 1 minute and don't cheat. And go. And stop. And you can put your pencils down. We are not going to go through the answers for you guys. But how do you think you did? Do you feel like you did okay against the kids? Yeah. Did it stretch the brain muscles a little bit for you? All right, so I wanted to thank you so much for allowing us to showcase the components of one of the components of EM2 happening at Trailside. Students, thank your partners and go back to your seats, please.
Good job. Oh, actually, you guys, we have some. We're gonna. If you guys want to come over.
What do we want to do, picture?
We live our. You can take your clipboard with you.
Ms. Locke, if you please come up with our students.
You're not competitive or anything, are you, Mikkel?
Oh my gosh, Linda's like 30
So let's give another round of applause to our students from Trailside Point, third grade. Also, a round of applause to their outstanding teacher, Ms. Erica Lotz. I'm having some flashbacks here. It is warm now in this room. That was a pretty intense minute there, Ms. Lotz. But parents, what you're seeing here is our new math curriculum in action. And what you would see if you went to upper grades is more rigorous, and lower grades, you could see why they're doing what they're doing to be where they are in third grade. And so it's an outstanding program. Parents and family members and friends that are here, it is such a blessing to have your students in our schools, and we thank you for bringing them to Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy, a great school. And so we hope, well, just thank you very much. We really appreciate you, parents and friends and family members. Just a couple updates on our upcoming calendar. We have a teacher job fair on March 25th. Parents Day at the Capitol, advocating for our public schools on Monday, April 1st. And then our second LEAP event, which is Levine Exploration of Academic Pathways, an opportunity for parents to check out high school options, college options, and to hear about jobs of the future. I would also add, Governing Board, on April 1st, we start state assessments as well. So here we go. We are in the fourth quarter, and state assessments start in early April. And with that, we'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Abek.
Awesome. And I'd highly recommend the LEAP event. And that's where I found where my son's going to go to high school, and I think Mikkel as well. So it's a very helpful event. But thank you, parents, for bringing your children and sharing them with us today. And thank you to Ms. Lotz and Ms. Tate and Ms. Boyle. It's awesome. Such great things happening at Trailside Point, and it's so fun to get to see it here and see this curriculum and the amazing things that they're doing in third grade. So thank you. And parents, just really impressed by your kids. They did a great job, and just so cool to see all that they're doing. Thank you for bringing them. We are going to, when we finish this celebration little part, we'll take a little break before the business section, so you guys are welcome to stay for it, but you're also welcome to take your kids and go celebrate with your families. So thank you again for being here. Welcome back. All right, moving on to our, we're going to call to the public next, or is that the end? Okay.
Next is the
PLCs, oh, that's
presentation.
right, presentation. Okay, we have a presentation on professional learning communities with Jamie. Come on up.
Well, thank you. Members of the governing board, Dr. Sprout, and community, thank you for the opportunity this evening to go over professional learning communities, often known as a PLC. So in education, we have lots of things that mean all the letters, so this one is PLC. Got it, Charlie? We always tease Charlie about all of the acronyms. So you might be asking, well, what is a professional learning community? And so a professional learning community can be a part of content grade level teachers, so like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math teachers, so it could be vertical. It could be a grade level like what we saw 3rd grade, where it's the whole 3rd grade team meeting together. So there's different ways that a PLC can be constructed. But what it really is an opportunity to explore these 4 questions. And this is based off of Rick DeFore's 4 questions and the research behind it. And so you're gonna see these 4 questions multiple times tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and read them. The idea is, what do we want all students to know and be able to do? What will we do if they don't learn it? How will we know if they've learned it? How will we respond when some students do not learn? And how will we extend the learning for students who are already proficient? And those 4 guiding questions go through each piece in our planning to know what we need to do for our students. So thank you to the governing board and our community, because it was a change for our community to add early release Wednesdays this year to our calendar, allowing each of our schools to have PLC time built into the teacher contract day. Here internally, we call that PLC Wednesday. And the reason why we call it PLC Wednesday is we don't want to lose focus for what that time is for. And that time is meant for our teachers to be able to work together and to plan and to really go deep into what our next steps are for our students. On this screenshot, you're going to see one of our school sample agenda for the entire afternoon. There's 2 pieces to it. You can see a part of a PD, which we call power PDs. That's also a new term we coined this year. We're just making up stuff all around, so I'll have to give you a thesaurus at the end of what all these things mean. But a power PD should be short. It should be concise, and it should be to the point. So it should be based off of what we're seeing in classrooms, what our teachers are asking us for, and what is going to help us move to the next level. There are a few exceptions, like this month we had state testing training that's mandatory by the state. So when those things come up, obviously we need to comply with them, but generally speaking, those should be few exceptions along the way. The majority of the time should be spent in the PLC. And so this is a planning document once they're in that PLC time. And once again, you're going to notice those 4 questions. You're also going to notice when you see teachers, they're going to have either their curriculum guides, they're going to have student work where they're looking and being able to answer those questions. They're looking at students' work. They're seeing what should they get out of this lesson? Did they get it? How do I know that they got it? Which kids didn't get it? What do I need to do differently to make sure they do? And our kids that are ready to move forward, how do we keep them moving forward without slowing them down? All of our schools have different planning templates. We'll see more as the presentation continues, but this idea that that time is really actively being spent on that work. I can stand up and tell you what a PLC is, but it's way easier to show you. So in all transparency, this video was actually taken last year. So at the end of the last year when we decided to look at PLC Wednesdays for this year, I did a training with all of our administrators and site leaders, and this is the video that we pulled from. And also, thanks to Richard Pino, who was always willing to go out with me and video. So this is the 4th grade team at Estrella Foothills. And I also have the questions at the bottom so you can follow along.
That's good. All right, so we're looking at that chapter 8 artifact and that test. Thinking about that, what do we want our students to learn? And maybe some success.
So we wanted our students to just overall, in general, with the standard of fractions, we wanted them to make sure that they could find equivalent fractions, simplified, which is a part of equivalent fractions. We wanted to see that they could distinguish between improper and mixed numbers, but be able to conceptually understand that by drawing a model of how they internalize and visualize it. And then also that they were able to successfully like decompose, which is another understanding of a mixed number, decompose it and what it looks like and what it is comprised.
So after thinking about those things that we wanted to see, what were some of the strengths that we saw within the learning, and how will we know that they are learning? How do we know that from that test?
Some of the strengths I saw were the drawing of those models for improper and mixed number. I saw that they once they drew that model, it was very easy for them to convert either from mixed number to improper fraction or the other way around. That's the strength that I saw as far as my students, and also the decomposing. I feel like they did a really good job decomposing. And I do feel like that decomposing helps with improper fraction and mixed number and helps make that connection to the fraction bar or like the model that they drew, because it matches that perfectly almost. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, I liked how they were double checking with their various strategies that we taught them, either multiplying or the cross multiplication. But then really now knowing how to model, you know, some of those things with either, like you said, the number line or the actual model.
And I also noticed some of my students were able to use various multiple strategies that they showed me here. So then that just told me, okay, they're definitely, no matter how it was taught to them.
So how can we respond to those students that didn't get it? What do we need to reteach? Or what they do reteach?
I feel like something that I noticed that we had a hard time with is simplest form, and I know that's something that we taught a few weeks ago, and I see maybe some of the same students still struggling, and I feel like it goes back to that multiplication facts of not being able to identify all the multiplication facts to be able to find that simplest form and divide by that. And so that's something that I noticed some students still struggling in.
Yeah, I had that too, finding that GCF. So they would get some of the factors and then stop and not get to that greatest.
That greatest common factor. Yeah.
Same with me too, and these other ones that either scored a minimally or partially proficient on this test, they just, in general, are not understanding what it looks like, as far as especially a mixed number and an improper fraction. So I know where we're going, which we'll talk about right next, with as far as our math acceleration for the next couple of years.
So overall, you think that'll be your target for acceleration?
I think so, at least for
Okay.
this year. Yeah, the rest of this year.
It's simple. And then we have to go back to like using tiles. We can't, I feel like maybe we need to visualize it. Maybe what does that simplest form look like? Maybe it's hard to visualize and understand what does simplest form mean, really. So maybe going back to that fraction tile, or even, you know, like you said, scaffolding back, just with that, the group of students who had a hard time, just so they can visualize it. And I'm thinking even using like an apple or a cake or like a sandwich.
Yeah, because it's like, why do I need to have simplest form? Like, they're just telling me to find essentially multiple ways, but providing examples, I think, would be awesome.
So we probably need to see what we have within our fingertips right here to see if it's, you know, engaging and it will either extend, you know, on the same standard.
Yeah,
For the rest of this week at least.
I know usually we put in our tests like those 21st century questions, and we kind of spiral it throughout to our acceleration. So just those ones, I know we really like those ones, like justify your answer and looking at that table or chart. So that way when they get on that ASA test and they take those state tests or intermediate, and they're able to use that.
Like the multi-step, like part A, part B, I think is really good practice, especially for ASA too. And they can get used to structure of testing.
Oops, still need to start it over again. One time is enough. So ideally, the PLC process in the Power PD should be guided for our teachers by our teachers. So they should be things that are coming and bubbling up from the PLC process. And once again, we were out recording, and you never know what you're gonna get when you record, but when I came back and I started looking through all the raw footage, I'm like, oh, this is priceless. So this is Paseo Point's 3rd grade. And it's a little bit shorter than the last one. Oh, by the way, they were looking at writing, and they had just gone through what the kids had done well, and now they're looking at what needs to happen next.
Yeah, I'm glad we did opinion writing though, because for at least our kids had a really hard time finding their own voice, because they're so used to us giving them the materials and okay, I read it and then I just kind of like put the information, but like having their own thoughts, that's where they really struggle. Now,
and you have ways that you know how to do that.
Correct.
I think what would be really helpful would be to get a workshop on how to teach kids to write with a voice. Because it's really hard. If you enjoy writing, it comes naturally to you, right? But if you do not like writing, you're not a good reader as well when you're putting things to text, how do you even start? Like, if you look at all our writing pieces, the only reason why they had a voice is because they could model after TJ and Chloe, and even then it was copying what they did. They don't have that.
And that's where you start.
Individuality.
Right?
But I want to learn how we can build it with them, you know?
So how to build voice? I mean, we could do 2 different ones.
So ideally, that PLC Power PD would, at Paseo Point, they would either do a Power PD with a 3rd grader, look larger than that, and give those teachers some support with voice. Because they're saying that I'm teaching it and our kids are struggling, but I don't know what else to do with that. I would like more help. And so that Power PD time built into the PLC Wednesday, there is an opportunity for PD. They should be quick and succinct and to the point, to voice, so that they can move forward, but allowing our teachers the opportunity to look for trends and patterns, not only in the students' work, but what they need support in as well. So it's an opportunity to not only grow our students, but also grow our staff through that process. And I think I'm going to need to do this again. Let's see. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So hopefully through those video clips, you can see examples of these things starting to grow. But the goals behind our professional learning community is the idea that everyone at the school has a shared goal of improving students' learning. Those conversations are very, very focused on teaching and learning. The idea that we're building staff-to-staff collaboration, and I say staff to staff rather than teacher to teacher because we do have our certified staff and our IAs. We have resource teachers in some of those videos sitting in there being a part of that process, that it's more than just the classroom teacher, but it's all of our staff having an opportunity to collaborate and grow. And changing our teaching based off of data. We saw in the first example at Estrella Foothills when they're like, oh, well, we should get out the tiles, or we should do this differently. We need to build more conceptual understanding. So using the data, it can be a test, but it also can just be an observation in the classroom. It can be a student work sample. It doesn't have to be a formal test for it to be data for us. Continuous improvement and reflection. Shared obligation for student success. So if you're a great teacher and you've taught the same lesson I did and all of your kids got proficiency, you're gonna grab your bag and walk out the door, but here I am and I taught the same lesson and my kids didn't do as well. So this is a shared obligation that you care as much for my students as I care for yours, and you're gonna help share your knowledge with me so that all of our kids can be successful and all of our staff can be successful. And that's a premise of what we're working towards in these goals. And all of it focuses on professional growth. Professional growth for me as a leader, professional growth for our teachers, and all the way through. We all are looking for ways to grow and improve ourselves. The PLC process this year has highly been focused on Eureka Math Squared, as it is a new program. Each lesson, each unit is new for all of us. Our kids, the program assumes that the kids have had this program the year before, so looking at the potential learning gaps that we may not have in the future, but also new knowledge for our teachers as well. So a lot of the program and a lot of the PD and PLC process. So this is an example from MC Cash, where they've gone in and kind of built in professional development into the PLC process. So you can see a module study is like it's what Eureka Math uses the word for a unit, where they're going in and looking at what they're going to to be teaching. A topic study is the week's lesson, which usually focuses around one cluster standard. And you can see what I have highlighted in red. They're still asking teachers as they're going through and looking for the teacher implementation guide for the very first time that they've seen that. Also, what do kids need to know and be able to do? And then they're bringing their work samples back together after the planning, and then they're looking more like what we saw in those videos. Another example is from Trailside Point. This is a 5th grade planning document. Once again, you see in the red boxes those 4 questions coming through, and this is just their way of holding themselves accountable after they finish their PLC. They're just jotting in for themselves those quick objectives that they have for kids. What do they want kids to know and be able to do? And I love their tier point 1.5, which is basically what is the next step and how are we going to scaffold in real time rather than waiting for the gap to continue. And putting them in an acceleration time period. What are we going to do during our tier 1 instruction? Because we're noticing they need help with that we're going to go back and make sure that we're bringing that and putting it in front of our kids. So that's also another example. Notice that I'm trying to use multiple examples from multiple schools as this is a district-wide initiative and all of our schools are working towards these goals. So you might be asking yourself, well, what does the day look like while the kids are there? So we talked about what happens when the kids go home. Thank you to Dr. G. I asked her can I borrow your master schedule for a governing board meeting? Sure, Amy. Luckily, she likes me. Hopefully, she still likes me after this meeting. But here is an example of kindergarten through 3rd grade. You'll see the yellow is lunches, the greens are specials, and the other pieces of time are there with their classroom teacher. And then an example, I'll give you a second to be able to look at that. And then here's the 4th and 8th grade schedule. So these are the students that are departmentalized. They leave to go class to class. Once again, they still have their lunches and their specials. But hopefully, if parents are watching on the YouTube link, please bring your kids to school on Wednesdays because it is still a full academic day. We have all of our core content still being taught. It is still a full day of teaching and learning, even though we are releasing early. So our next steps as we move forward into PLC Wednesdays going into next year is just to continue to build that staff-to-staff collaboration through the PLC process and the idea that it's growth for all of us. We're all learning and growing. We've never arrived. A different group of kids, a different curriculum always shifts and changes things, and we need to be going back and looking at where our students are at. We feel like we've had a really strong implementation of Eureka Math Squared. I've had the pleasure of walking with all 3 of you through classrooms, and hopefully you've been able to see the implementation of our math program. And so we want to look at those best practices of how we've rolled that out this year. It's been a layered of experiences from having a great math adoption committee all the way through to our trainers. But the PLC process has also been a piece of that. And we want to be able to learn from those best practices as we move forward in our other areas. We are going to be looking at an ELA adoption next year. And so that is something that as we look at the ELA adoption, looking for those pieces that fit into the PLC process in that program. There is an ask that we expand the PLC Wednesdays by 30 minutes. Part of that would be a mistake that I would be willing to own, that we didn't really consider the transition time between dismissal and the start of PLCs. But the second piece to that would be, if you've noticed in those videos, it's one content area. So we're doing one content area of math and then the day's over, or one content area if they chose writing, but we're not doing both. So this idea of having 2 hours would give our schools some flexibility. They could use that time for PD if needed, but they don't have to have PD every time. They could have an hour of PLC for math and an hour of PLC for ELA or science or social studies or something else as well. If you're a content teacher, you can have that PLC with all of your 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math teachers, but then your 6th grade team could still meet together for that second hour too and talk from your 6th grade team and how those connect. So it just gives us a little bit more flexibility, and I kind of feel a little silly that we didn't fully consider the dismissal in that piece as well, but here we are. So how would that impact our schedule? Once again, this is the exact same schedule that I had on the other slide. Nothing has changed. My proposal to our principals would be that we would keep our lunches and special areas the same as it is, and that by those 30 minutes, we would approximately take about 7.5 minutes, equaling 4 times 7.5 to 30 minutes from our content pieces, which, as you can see, are pretty strong blocks of time. So we could still maintain the integrity of instruction on Wednesdays. So with that, I open it up to any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Mikkel, do you want to start?
Yeah. Is this when we give our comments?
You can
or questions?
get questions on this presentation.
Not comments?
Comments or questions,
Okay.
just on this presentation.
I thought he did this.
Sorry.
Oh, just on this presentation, okay. I know, I'm writing notes. Well, I was thinking about, my mind is like, I was gonna comment this after, but now, because it's about this. Having been an educator before, I love this concept, and I would have loved to have these. We did once a month in services, and it was just like someone's talking at us, and the whole time I was thinking like, I have papers to grade. Yeah. But I love the concept of coming together with your team, your learning community, and that teamwork. But I love that you said that they're there to support each other and each other's students too. And that it's based on data, and that the data is there to help our kids succeed, really. That's the whole point of it. And I just think that that professional development is so good for the kids, but also for the teachers, because it helps them be better teachers, but it helps them feel like they're in a community too. And that's super important for our educators, to feel that support from each other and to be there and have that. So I think it's great. And I think the additional 30 minutes will be great for them. But as a mom, maybe I'm in the minority, but I'm like, give me my kids for longer. I'm happy about that. This makes me very happy. So, but thank you for that, and for looking at the data, and for letting this be a place where our district can have communities like this for the employees and staff and teachers. I think it's fantastic.
I also love the shared obligation. I wrote that down. Come on, okay. I think my only question is, so when does this get implemented? Does a teacher write one every week? Like, do they, and then are they collected, or how are they assigned, or like how often does a form get triggered before something like?
So this happens every week, and it's an ongoing living document.
Okay.
So the same document can be in a Google Doc where they build off of each other. I think Dr. Sprout's style, and it's caught on at our schools, is that they have their agenda and then they build the agendas on top of it so they can scroll down and see all the way through. You could see where Trailside had a spreadsheet where they were making it very simple. It really depends on each school, but the idea is that it shouldn't be cumbersome to our teachers, that it should be useful for them. Yeah. That they're able to leave and know, okay, I know that I need to focus for these 4 kids on this, and our accelerated kids, they need this, and we're teaching this next week, or we've all agreed, but I know what the outcome is, meaning I know what grade level output looks like, and I'm pushing my kids to that, and when they're not there, I'm gonna come back, and if I don't know how to do it, I'm gonna ask my colleagues, what are you doing, or how can we support that? So the paperwork depends on where we're at, but my philosophy is that I don't want it to be burdensome, I want it to be useful, and so for me, having that agenda, whatever your learning style is that you want to take notes, works for me as long as you're engaged in the process and I see it in the classroom.
Thanks, Mary. I think it's great, and I also am in support of an extra 30 minutes as well, even as a parent and as a board member.
You know, when you started out saying it's better to show you than to just tell you about it, and I was expecting a little group of you to walk up here behind our chairs and lead us in a PLC.
That's funny.
Classroom spotlight.
Yeah, well, classroom spotlight, put you guys on the spot, that would have been funny. But yeah, thank you for that. That's really helpful, and I appreciate you showing us across different campuses, because I know different schools are doing it differently, so it's really helpful to see in action. I really appreciate that, and I was thinking the same thing as a former teacher, like, man, I would have loved to have this, to sit down, and that the mentoring that can happen when you have teachers of different levels and different experience, and being able to figure out, like you said, that one teacher taught it and they're proficient, and someone else it didn't go so well, and just how helpful that would have been in my beginning years of teaching. And and I love that that's during their contract time, because I feel like in general we have a lot of our teachers and staff, in my experience, teachers and staff are willing to help each other out and to do that and to help along their coworkers, but to be doing it in contract time is great so that they're not having to work a bunch of overtime to be able to help each other. So that's awesome. And I also appreciate you talking about preserving the instructional time, because I know that is a concern that I've heard before when we had the half days of like, is there even any point of going to school? And knowing, for the parents to know and for us to know, yes, we are making sure that we're getting all this content area in. I'd be curious, and I didn't ask you this ahead of time, so you don't need to answer it today, but I'd be curious if we do see attendance differences this year with PLC Wednesdays versus half-day Wednesdays. Like, Tim's over here whispering. Okay.
I gave you to staff attendance.
Oh, okay.
And we looked at half-day Wednesdays a year ago compared to now, and then absences on early release Wednesdays and compared to that, and then also just an early release Wednesday compared to a Tuesday, a Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. And there's no correlation. There's many Wednesdays where the staff attendance is much higher.
Okay.
And one could potentially attribute it to the collaboration time. So on
Yeah.
the staff end of attendance, we have more staff coming for
Okay.
just as much than we did on any other day or a year ago when we had 15 sporadic
Yeah.
half-day Wednesdays.
Okay, yeah, and I was curious how, if we had more parents coming now that it's a longer day. I've liked the consistent every Wednesday schedule personally, having it be the same. And I can see with having more time, how that would be helpful to be able to do math and ELA, or like you said, the departmental or the grade level, or maybe being able to look at signature programs or whatever, to have a little bit more flexibility in what they're able to look at. I also had a note here in the video. I love seeing the teachers go like this to each other, because I know I see the kids do it, and my kids do it to me at home. Like, we'll be talking and during dinner, and their mouths full. They're like going like this. So it's funny to see it all over the place. Yeah. So that's always fun. I think those were all. I had one other question. So I noticed in the videos that we had a coach or administrator in those videos. Is that something that, do all the PLCs have a coach administrator? They kind of bounce around during that time? How do we work
now
that?
that we're doing them all at the same time, and you can see this a little bit on the Paseo Point agenda, where at the bottom they tell you, like, our K-3 teachers are all in the library, and so our K-3 teachers are all spread out. They're not doing one PLC. They brought their stuff, and there's a coach, and they're kind of facilitating that in case they're needed, or sending with people, and so they're breaking up their leadership teams that way. So there might be a common area where the middle school teachers might all be in the science lab and separate spaces working and then coming together. So our leadership teams have tried to separate themselves, but also not have everyone in the same room. It's too loud, and so.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. That was a really helpful presentation. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, and good job to all the administrators. I think we've probably all seen this as we've walked around on our visits, and I've seen teachers in there with their samples of work and looking at it and being able to talk about the data, and so it's really a good practice that I love seeing done across the district.
Well, I don't want to leave here without saying that it's the people in this room that's made that happen. It's our principals, our coaches, academic services, Sarah Zimbrewski and Tracy Watkins also. So it's a team effort. I just got to be the one to share with you, so thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're moving on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Oh, second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. And we'll move on to, oh, yes, right. Thank you.
On to-
Okay, we're turning the time over to Dr. Sprout for
All right.
announcement.
Thank you, Ms. Abig, and governing board members. On the personnel report, we approved 2 new administrators coming onto our team for the 25-26 school year. So I'm very excited to announce our incoming for the 25-26 school year principal at Cheatham Elementary School, Sarah Schaefer. Sarah, would you please stand and welcome. And then our incoming Executive Director of Student Services, Michael Karpinski. Welcome, Michael. Thank you.
Does Sarah know about the videos, the dance videos that have been going on at Cheatham? Because You have some dancing shoes to fill over there these days.
That's right.
Well, I do have to tell the board, Sarah is a diehard Sun Devil. And we paired her with Ashley Grant, who is the same exact thing for U of A. So we have a house divided already. So we'll see what will happen.
I did notice the PLC video had some
A lot of
U
U
of
of
A
A.
in the
What's up
background.
with that, EFGA?
All right, awesome. Well, welcome. We're really excited to have you guys. I'd love to come say hi and meet you after the meeting. All right, moving on to our board consideration and action. Are you presenting on do you have any explanation on number 1? Or is it? Do we have someone commenting on it, or we're just, okay. All right, so we will vote on ranking of construction manager at risk for firms for school 10. So we're just gonna make a motion? Yeah, so we have a motion to approve
Motion.
that? Okay. Do you guys have any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, unanimous. And number 2, the new Dean of Student Attendance position.
Motion?
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Memorandum of Understanding with the I Love You Guys Foundation, the standard reunification method. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? Oh, sorry,
Aye.
discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. And Memorandum of Understanding with I Love You Guys Foundation, the standard response protocol. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we will move on to comments from the board. No, this is whatever you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Whatever you want, Tanya.
Did he say, do we have time? Is that what he just said? I thought he was going to say, welcome, by the way, Sarah and Michael. I wrote your names down. Welcome to the district. I thought he was going to say you're a diehard Suns. And I was like, yeah. Oh, Sun Devils. I'm nothing against. I know. I'm Switzerland. I went to NAU. Anyway, but if you were a Suns fan, I was going to be very thrilled. Hopefully you are. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you so much for your presentation. I wanted to talk about how I got to go on tours of all the schools since the last meeting and how it was so amazing. And I just wanted to thank you all for welcoming me and showing me your communities and your staff and your students. I just loved my time there, and I kind of mentioned it when we were talking about the PLC portion, but as a professional, I would love to work in this district. I've said that to Dr. Sprout before. I think this would be such a great district to work in. The community is so there and welcoming and supportive. But as a parent, and I feel like that is once you become a mom, man, I am a mom to not just my kids, I'm a mom to every kid out there, right? And I really mean this truly, that I would feel comfortable and happy and honored to send my kid to every one of these 9 schools. And I think that speaks so much to you all and all the hard work you do to make it a safe and safe physically, but also emotionally and academically, an academic place for all these kids to go and for all the staff to be at. So thank you so much for all you do. And I just am just so happy to be here once again. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Ms. Sketsky.
So I hope you guys all had a wonderful, relaxing spring break. Well deserved. We're in the final stretch of the school year. And I hope to visit every school between now and the end of the school year somehow. I'll work with Elsa and Dr. Sprout. I love Math All-Stars. That might be my chance. We'll see. But you guys had some really fun events this last school year, and I don't know if other schools do like all this fun stuff. Like, I am so proud to be a member of the Levine community because I really think that it's a great community. So keep up the good work and try to truck through those last couple of months before summer break.
All right, thank you. Yeah, always just thanks to you guys. And we had the ribbon cutting today for Building A, which was awesome. And as Dr. Sprout said, that it takes, see if I say it right, it takes a strong schools to make a strong community, and a strong community to make strong schools. And it's just everybody in this room, everybody in our community, and parents watching, and I just really appreciate what we're doing in Laveen and how much it benefits all of Laveen. And you're all working and creating something really amazing, so thank you for that. State testing starting, so best wishes on your testing. You guys have done all the work, and I know the students are ready for it. They might not want to do it, but I know they're ready for it. You guys got them there, so best wishes to all of you and to your staff as you move forward with that. And, yeah, okay. So we'll move on to the call to the public regarding non-agenda items. I'll read our statement that we have before public comment. Oh, you have that there. All right. So thank you for caring about the children of the Laveen Elementary School District and for taking time out of your busy schedule to address the governing board. The call to the public is on the regular board agendas to provide everyone the opportunity to be heard. The governing board understands the importance of communication with the public and welcomes and values your comments, concerns, input, and praise. The governing board cannot comment or answer issues brought up at call to public because only items listed on the agenda for discussion or action may be addressed. This does not mean that your comments will be forgotten or that the board does not care what you think. The governing board president will discuss them with the superintendent, and every effort will be made to answer your questions and/or resolve your concerns. It is the responsibility of the governing board president to recognize speakers. Today, I'm acting as clerk in that position because our president is not here, if you hadn't noticed. Okay, call them to the podium and determine the length of time each speaker receives, and we have 2 minutes per speaker. Speakers may not yield the time they've been given to a different speaker. All participants are encouraged to be respectful of the governing board, staff members, students, family members, and all others who have joined the governing board as it conducts district business this evening. All right, with that said, we'll move on to our public comment. Our first comment will be from Mr. Mario Hernandez. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So the one topic that I wanted to talk about was kind of going through this past school year with the 504 plan and then an IEP. So this is based off of my experience this school year, right? So in developing a 504, first off, right, there's procedures that were created. Obviously, a plan needs to be developed, right? And then we need to make sure with that student that the plan is followed, right? Obviously, could be modifications and whatnot, but we really need to have the plan that's developed, make sure that that is being followed per the student, so therefore he or she is getting the service, the support that they need, right? And then obviously, it would be good to kind of do a follow-up end of the week, bi-weekly with the parents saying, hey, this is kind of the status where we're at, this is kind of what we've experienced, and then again, that would leave it open to if a plan needs to be modified or adjusted, and just again, just the basic thing is just to work the plan, follow the plan, and support the child, right? That's the biggest thing. So my background is I'm in construction, so I do a lot of managing of teams, right? A lot of procedures, processes, and one of the things is always developing a plan. And then when things go awry, we got to go back to that plan, and then that's where it wasn't followed or it wasn't, developed properly. And so we need to say, hey, work your plan, right? Just like in the construction field, people go on break, they come back, things might have changed, adjust your plan. Same thing here for 504, right? Weeks can go by, months can go by, if something's different, changes, something's not working, maybe implement a different thing, strategy. And again, just following up and doing the due diligence to work that plan, right? I seen that there was some issues with that this past school year, so I think if we can really help and address that, it's a team effort, right? And then the couple of notes that I have here is the family should feel like they're welcomed to collaborate, to work with the school staff, right? And I think at certain times, there shouldn't be any one-off conversations offline, right? Everybody should come and brainstorm and help develop the plan, right? Because at the end of the day, it's what's best for the child, you know?
Thank
Moving
you,
on
and
to,
if you could finish your thought, because your time is up, but finish your thought, that'd be great.
I'm sorry, what's that?
The timer ran out, so if you could finish your thought, and we'll move on to the next comment. Be
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so the next one was IEP, right? So I would just like the board to kind of reevaluate IEP qualifications, right? So, and where I'm going with this is, I took part in a BASC survey this past school year. And for those that don't know, that's, you know, the mom has the survey, father has the survey, and the school has the survey, and they come with the 3 charts, right? And if everything lines up the same color, then they acknowledge that, and they can move forward with whatever the treatment would be, right? If the colors don't align, then that's not qualified, right? Which is alarming, because we did have, we had a diagnosis from an outside doctor, right? So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional on this stuff, you know? So that kind of wasn't really taken into consideration, so I just would like the board to look at those qualifications, right, for other students that may need that, may not be getting that, right? So that's at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, right, is to get the kids what they need.
Great. Thank you so much for being here to share that, and we'll be following up with Dr. Sprout, and I'm sure you're following up with our team as well, so we can make sure that we hear all of the details on it. Thank you for being here. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you.
All right, and next we have Kristen Hernandez. Thank you also for being here.
Hi, I'm here to address the board. I'm Kristen Hernandez. I'm the mother of a student that's attended Levine Elementary School District since preschool. We originally were at Vista. We loved Vista until he attended first grade, and there was a refusal to support him in the acceleration of that program. We were offered the opportunity to transfer to Desert Meadows. We did. And upon arriving at Desert Meadows, we loved the school, Miss Lewis, everything. This current year, we have a 504 as of April of the previous year. Our son's 504 has not been honored. Our son's 504 has not been met. We have been left out of continuous information. I've requested drafts of the evaluation report, only to be denied drafts in order to make a clear parental informed decision. With your new ESS director, I hope he puts in places where when I reach out to Dr. Sprout on multiple occasions that somebody could return my phone call. I've also reached out to Dr. Leo Leos with no regard to phone call. The only person who's ever called me back from the office since calling in January has been a secretary, and that's it. Ms. Robinson, your coordinator, came to our son's Met 2 meeting, and she was the final decision maker in our son's placement, when there shouldn't be a final decision maker who's never worked with our son. Furthermore, the psychologist has personally attacked me back in February. She's addressed me as a hoe in an email and has personally attacked my character. These are things I brought up to the district. That was what I was calling for. This is where I wanted to file a complaint. I've never been heard from. I've never been contacted by you. I've never been contacted by Mr. Ketchum, your principal, and I've reached out to him multiple times. Ms. Perez has been the only person who has seen me, and she's not even the evaluator of the psychologist. So there have been multiple times I have reached out as a parent, via email, via going in. I have been personally attacked. I've asked for the psychologist with her biased ways of not being the person who's evaluating. I've been denied that. Then it became a who knows what. So that's kind of where I'm stuck as a parent, and I'm very disappointed as a parent that our son has not been accommodated per his 504. But I have not been given the opportunity to even address anybody in leadership. So this is me addressing somebody in leadership right now, because I will move forward with ADE. I am a 16-year educator as well. I'm a special education coordinator, and I'm an academic coach as well. So I come from the realm of education. So I do call on this board to make a real realization that I am an informed parent, and some are not. And the leadership needs to lead by example and call back the parents with their concerns, especially if the principal, that's the first time I've ever heard his voice. And our son has been there since October of kindergarten, and he's a first grader going into second. I hope better for Levine. I really do, because my faith lied in Levine.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Appreciate you being here. And we'll follow up on those going forward. Okay. We are moving on to, our next meeting will be a regular meeting, April 10th, 2025. Same time, same place. Were we going to announce anything for next week? For the interviews, because that's a public meeting? Or is that still going to be just announced online?
I think you can announce.
Okay, so as you've noticed, there are only 3 of us because President Berrigan couldn't be here, and we are in an appointment process for another governing board member. So there'll be a public meeting where we'll be hearing from people seeking that appointment next Wednesday at 5 p.m. here. Yep, okay. Great, we appreciate you guys all being here, and we will see you. Yeah, we will. Yeah, I'm going to.
No, you have to ask. Do I have?
Yeah, I'm going to. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm confusing them by saying that first. So we're going to do the adjournment. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thanks, everyone. We'll see you next month.